All right, hello and welcome back to This Is How Sugar Sounds. I am your host Sabrina, and today I have a really special episode, and it's all about anxiety. All right, so before we begin this, I just want to say a quick disclaimer. I am not a doctor. Please seek professional help. This is only what has helped me in my experience. Always seek the advice of a mental health professional or other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding your condition. So I just wanted to lay out a little bit of the setup of what's going to be talked about today. So I'm going to be talking about anxiety, a little bit of my story, and then I'm going to go into tips and tricks for before anxiety or panic attacks happen, how to prevent them, how to slow them down from happening. Then I'm going to talk about what to do in the middle of a panic attack and kind of the things that have helped me overcome panic attacks and get through them. And lastly, I'm going to talk about recovery. So recovery care on how to heal your body after a panic attack. So I've been struggling with anxiety and panic attacks for about 5 years now. It's put a hold on my life in many instances, and it kind of crept up on me out of nowhere one day, and it just kind of all collided into once. So I had my first panic attack 5 years ago, and it was the most intense feeling I think I've ever felt in my life. And it was so crazy because it was literally like a wave of numbness, and I had never felt that before. You know, when you feel anxiety, you can feel it, like it's like tingly or it's your heart races, but this was so weird because it just like my body just like shut down, it felt like. And it was so scary because I've never had that numbing effect. And I didn't realize that that's actually a symptom of anxiety. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, they assume anxiety is always this really anxious state. And sometimes it's not. It's like your body literally like cannot handle the stress of like whatever situation you're in and just shuts down. So I went to therapy and I realized, I was experiencing a panic attack. I was experiencing anxiety episodes, whereas before, earlier in my life, it was always low-level, mid-level depression that I had kind of struggled with. And of course, I felt anxiety. Anxiety is natural. You need a sort of, your heart kind of races in instances, like when you're taking a test or, you have anxious moments in your life, but it had never been when like it was an issue. So it became an issue. And, it was really intense. So I basically have been studying my anxiety for the last 5 years. And it's really crazy to be where I'm at now, to be able to talk about it, because before I was really ashamed to go to therapy. I was really ashamed to talk about the fact that I didn't want to go out because I'm afraid of having a panic attack. I didn't really understand what was happening. I was convinced that like something evil was happening to me. I just thought that I was doing something wrong and to deserve what I was going through. And it's just not the case. My body had just built up all this anxiousness, and it just came out through panic attacks, unfortunately. I hope you never have to go through this, but if you do, I'm here to share my story and to share things that have helped me the most, that I've kind of collected through therapy, through books, through friends, through a bunch of different resources online, Twitter, TikTok even, YouTube videos, just stuff that have helped me get through that. So first I want to explain the signs a little bit. So racing heart, numbness, tingling, a sense of panic, irrational fears, overthinking, and etc. Those are the kind of tail signs that you're experiencing anxiety, a little more serious than I'm just anxious before a test or anxious before going on stage. It's more prevalent. It's more kind of every day that you're experiencing it. And if it inhibits your life, it's a problem. And I realized that it was a problem for me because it left me, it left me just unable to do the things that I loved anymore because I was so scared. I had developed so many fears, even fears around food. I couldn't even eat food that people would make for me because I was so anxious that something was going to happen to me, that I was going to be drugged or poisoned, or just horrible, irrational thoughts that I would have. And I would be so anxious all the time that when I felt relaxed, that didn't feel normal to me. Like, I was scared when I would feel relaxed because I was so used to living in such an anxious state that, like, relaxing and doing things that relax me did not help until I realized that I deserve to feel happy and healthy and well, and I deserve to feel relaxed and to love myself and care for myself. So that's kind of when the switch happened, when I started doing things and incorporating things into my life that would help me. And I really chose my health and my mental health over everything. And it just wasn't worth doing the things that I was doing and not feeling good. So that's kind of a little bit of my story and like where I'm at right now. I'm in a really good place. I do these things regularly that I'm about to share with you. And it's a lot, and I'm going to explain each of them. But we will just kind of journey through, and I hope this helps you in any way that it can, even if it's small, even if you forgot to breathe for a second. So now it's time for the tips. So tip number 1. Well, before even the tips, let me just say, let's talk about therapy real quick. So number 1 thing I will always say is go seek therapy. Seek someone who is a professional who can help you get through this time. They might prescribe you medicine, which there's nothing wrong with that. Just someone that can someone that you can talk to. I think of therapy as somebody that's not in my life and that can't be hurt by what I say. I realized that I was harboring a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings towards situations and people that I just wasn't able to express. And when I went to therapy, I realized that it was a safe place. They legally cannot say anything to anyone unless, of course, you're going to harm yourself or harm others. But other than that, like, it's sealed, it's closed, you have your right to privacy, and these people are not going to be offended by what you say. It's not going to bother them. They're there to listen, they're there to talk, to help you through it, and it has probably been the greatest thing I've ever done for myself is go to therapy. And I know right now they're offering a lot of like online therapy. Your school, if you're in school, should be offering free therapy sessions, your insurance. They're doing a lot of things to help people in this time. So please seek someone to talk to, a professional that you can just take this weight off your chest and give it to someone else and just to hash it out. I mean, talking is such a beautiful thing. I mean, that's why we're doing a podcast. So that's my first absolute. Please seek therapy. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I know that I was ashamed of therapy for a long time. I felt that I was crazy, but I realized that it takes a really big person to say that they don't like something about themselves and want to change that. I mean, people don't own up to themselves. They don't own up to situations. They don't own up to the fact that they are not happy or whatever it is. So I think it takes a really big person to step into that therapy office. It's the opposite of saying that people are weak, but so seek therapy. But now let's go into tips and tricks about how to help prevent anxiety. So my number 1 thing is breathing. This seems really simple, but breathing is vital. Breathing is life. Breath is life. There is a yogic breath. It's the 4-7-8 breath. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold that breath for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. I'll link a video to what I'm talking about below. And it's something that you're supposed to practice every day. I think it's for like 4 breath cycles. You do the 4-7-8. And it's just kind of to keep yourself at bay, because sometimes you don't even realize that you're not breathing. I mean, even right now, I'm a little anxious because I'm filming and this is going to be out in public. And I have to remember as I'm doing this to just breathe, tone it back down, breathe, and it'll be okay. So yeah, the 4-7-8 breath is probably one of my favorite things I've ever done. It's just like really deep breathing. I mean, like a really deep belly breath. You want to make sure your diaphragm expands when you breathe and just like let the air just flow through all your body. When you inhala, exhala. And when you inhale positivity and beauty and love and peace. And when you exhale, you're exhaling all these negative emotions that you're feeling. So that's my first tip. Second tip is journaling. So this does not have to be in a special journal notebook that you have to go buy from the store. It does not have to say journal across it. It can literally just be pieces of paper that you find. It can be on your phone. It can be on your laptop. I mean, we have a notes app. My recommendation is just get out these emotions that you're feeling. Put it onto paper. I like the physical act of writing because it's physical and I'm using my hands and I'm actually letting out the words that I'm feeling. So that's really powerful for me. But when I don't have the chance to be writing out or whatever, I use my phone and I just kind of like type out what I'm feeling, or literally physically type it out on my computer. So journaling is a really great way to just kind of keep your emotions at bay and to just let them out, because we bottle our emotions so much. Like a pressure cooker, it can only handle so much. It's gonna eventually need to let off steam or it's gonna explode. So you don't want to be an exploding crock pot or pressure cooker, whichever metaphor you want to use. You can let off steam. So I let off steam by journaling. That's one way. And a lot of people think like, oh, I don't want to journal. I don't want to, that's lame. Or no, it's not. It's an easy way to just kind of be honest with yourself and be honest with situations and be honest with what's going on. So journal. My third tip is yoga. So I love yoga because it's just really therapeutic. Yoga is really revolved around your body, around breathing, around stretching. It's really powerful. There's a reason why there's so many yoga movements, and there's a reason why millions and millions of people do yoga every day. It's because it really helps stretching your body, relieving stress. I'll leave a link to a video that I do. It's just like a really quick 10-minute routine. I don't do this every day. I wish I did. I would be a lot more peaceful if I did yoga every day, but it's hard. If you've never done yoga before, it's challenging. It requires strength, which is a good way to build up strength. But yoga is my favorite thing. You're gonna hear me kind of mention it a couple times because I think it's really powerful. I wish I did it more, so this is almost like a reminder for me. So yoga. My fourth tip is just exercise in general. Get your body moving. My mom always says energy creates energy. When you're feeling like you don't want to do anything, you're lethargic. I know that feeling very, very well. My mom's always like, just get up, just start to move, wiggle, dance, start to stretch, breathe, just move your body, start creating that stagnant energy, move that stagnant energy. Get out all of that pent up energy, all that emotions that are kind of building inside of you. The best way to release it is through exercise. I know so many people who are struggling with anxiety. Working out has always been the best thing for them. And I know that when I work out consistently, I feel really good. So I know that we're all quarantined in our house. So there's so many at-home workouts that you can do. You can literally look up at-home workout on YouTube. I know the Nike training app is free. I use that one. I've had really good workouts on the Nike training app. Alexis Ren is one that I've done a few times. My friend gave me a couple workouts to do, like HIIT workouts to do at home. I also live in an apartment, so I live on the top floor of the apartment, and so I always get scared of like jumping around, but it's so quick, it's not going to affect anybody for that long. But yeah, workout, there's so many resources for working out at home right now. You can use your milk jug to lift a weight. Just do something to get your body moving and let out that energy. My fifth tip for you is to make your bed. I always say this because I used to not make my bed. I just had like a duvet and like I didn't have any sheets or pillows and stuff. I have pillows, but I just would kind of leave the duvet like crazily. So I started making my bed every day, and it was this Navy officer. There's some officer in the military talked about making your bed every day and how they train them in the military, I guess, to like make their beds a certain way. But the point of this is to say that it feels so good after a long day coming home to a fresh made bed, a bed that's clean and organized and just kind of nicely put away and tucked and ready for you to just sleep in is super relaxing. And if you got nothing done in the day, at least you made your bed, and at least you have a bed to go back to. It's just a really nice thing for you to do for yourself, and just to kind of clear your head and to check one thing off your list is to make your bed. The next thing is, along with making your bed, is cleaning your space. So I know that some people have a lot of time right now. So cleaning your space is so therapeutic. I absolutely love cleaning and organizing. That's just me. I think it's euphoric to watch cleaning videos and to clean my space and to organize my area. And it's not perfect. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say every single day I deep clean my house, I put away things. That's not the case. But cleaning your space is really good for kind of keeping your mind at ease. You know, when you have a messy area, it's really hard to do work in or to think about anything other than the fact that I have a messy space and I have to clean this. Just do it. Right now we have some time. Just clean your space. Get it done with. Get rid of things. Toss out the old. Use what you have right now and just clean. Just get out that dust. Get out that stagnant energy. Move things around. Give yourself positive energy in your area, in your room. I mean, cleaning your room is so powerful. Your mind is so powerful, and we're so affected by our environments. Why not give yourself the space to be calm and to not see a pile of clothes or whatever it is, whatever your mess is. My mess is usually clothes. And so, do yourself the favor and just clean out. Get rid of old clothes. Get rid of the stuff that you've held on to for 1,000 years. It's time to let go. It's time to get rid of the trash. Throw away your water bottles. Your body and your mind will thank you. And when your space is cleaned, so is your mind. And it'll be easier to work and do your tasks. I know that I'm in university and everything's online right now, and I know that when I am in a clean space, I tend to focus better because I'm not looking at the mess that I have around me. So, clean your space. This is your, what is it called? This is your wake-up call, or this is your sign to finally clean your space. Number 7 is positive affirmations. I really love positive affirmations because I just think that they're so powerful. Your mind is so powerful, and what you believe is really what you are. What you think that your life is really that. So on a sticky note, just put it up wherever you can see it every day and write something positive. Like, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am smart, I deserve love. Whatever it is that you need to hear, write that down on a sticky note or wherever, or even on your wallpaper. On my wallpaper, I have on my home screen a positive little affirmation there that I see every day, and just repeat it. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself in the mirror, and do this consistently, and you will see such a huge shift because you're going to actually believe, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am these things that I need to hear. And you're telling yourself that, and that's really powerful because you're your own best friend. It's you and you always. It's you versus yourself. So don't be your biggest bully or your biggest critic in your life. And I think that one way that you can stop that from happening is through a positive affirmation. So, and your thoughts are very powerful. So be careful what you're thinking. You're creating your own reality. So be wise and careful on what you're telling yourself. So that's why I say use a positive affirmation, so that way you can kind of stop those negative thoughts dead in its tracks. Number 8 is skincare. The simple act of taking care of yourself is just a form of self-love. It's just something positive that you can do for yourself, is taking care of your skin. I know that I've invested a lot of time into my skincare recently because I was breaking out really badly on my chin, on my cheeks. It was not very fun. And I realized that I've been neglecting myself. I was kind of neglecting my health, my well-being, because I was feeling so overwhelmed from everything that's going on. And it's understandable what's happening and for us to feel overwhelmed, but I wasn't taking care of myself. And I realized that. So I started doing my skincare routine consistently and just really taking the time to take care of my skin, and I saw a huge difference in my skin, in my confidence, and the love I had for myself through my skincare. So there is a tip I'd like to share. This is from LA Beautyologist. It is called the 60-second rule. And basically, you wash your face for 60 seconds. So you take your cleanser or I think it's your cleanser and your exfoliator. I think it's just your cleanser and your oil cleanser and your regular cleanser. And you literally sit there with the cleanser and you rub it in for 60 seconds all over your face. And while you're doing this, you can massage yourself. You can just release tension in your jaw through the massage and through cleaning yourself. It's just a way to really penetrate deep in your pores, the cleanser that you're using. So I will leave a link to that video because that really helped me with it totally changed the game of my skin was through the 60-second rule. I didn't realize that just kind of rubbing on my skin was not doing anything for me. And like I said, give yourself a little massage while you do it and just release some tension in your face. Because you hold a lot of tension here, smiling and laughing and crying. That stuff builds up in your face muscles. So I'll leave a link to, I will leave a link to LA Beautyologist where I learned that skincare tip. Also, Sachin on YouTube. I'll leave a link to her too. She has some really great things about skincare that I really enjoy. Okay, number 9. So along with your face and your body, it's your diet. So diet really has a lot to do with how you feel. And I know that when I am eating a lot of sugar, caffeine, just greasy foods, I don't feel good. And usually my anxiety is worse during those times of where I'm eating really poorly. And I'm not saying never eat poorly, always eat good, always eat a salad. I'm just saying watch what you're eating and, take care of yourself. I switched to a plant-based diet actually for my health, my mental health, and for the animals and, for the environmental impacts. But there's a lot of research being done on your mental health and diet because, what you eat really is what you are, the gut-brain axis, which you can do research on if you want to look into it. But I switched to a plant-based diet, and I know that's a privilege for some people, and not everyone can do that, and I totally understand that. But if you can and have the opportunity to, limit as much meat consumption as you can and dairy consumption, because dairy is a hormonal drink, and it can really affect your hormones. It can affect your skin a lot. A lot of skincare and beauty people say not to drink dairy for the effects it has on your skin, but also, all those hormones cannot be good for you. And I have never felt so clear and in my life. I've had a couple mishaps when I've had dairy, and I was so anxious during that time, and I was like, why am I so anxious? Well, I realized that the bread that I was eating had dairy in it. So that's for a whole other episode when I decide to do my my plant-based journey. But while we're just on diet and anxiety, just watch what you're eating. Nourish yourself with good, healthy vegetables and fruits. A recipe I like to make just to get in my greens is a spinach smoothie. So what I do is I put blueberries, bananas, and strawberries and almond milk, frozen bananas and almond milk into a blender with a handful of spinach. And it's just one way to get in spinach. I don't love spinach. I like it when it's cooked, but a good way to have raw spinach is in a smoothie because all those other amazing blueberries and bananas mask the taste of the spinach. All right, so number 10 is, I almost don't want to say it. Number 10 is cutting out caffeine. I know. We are a caffeine addicted society. But caffeine makes you so anxious. It aggravates anxiety symptoms. And anxiety is so much worse than getting your caffeine fix. I know it's unrealistic for me to say to just cut out caffeine, especially for people who need it. I get it. Believe me, I was caffeine addicted when I was very young. My mom owned a cafe, and I started drinking coffee probably at the age of 9. So How I cut caffeine out of my life was really slow. I started by drinking matcha and green tea because it's not so much caffeine. Sorry. Oh, my face itches itchy. I started drinking matcha because it's not so much caffeine, and then I switched to decaf coffee, and then eventually it was just all herbal teas. So now I'm on all herbal teas. I do not have any anxiety or not anxiety. I don't have any caffeine in my life at all, which is really hard because I loved caffeine. I love the smell of coffee. I miss it sometimes, but I have one little sip of caffeine and I get so anxious. It's such an awful feeling. So yeah, cutting out caffeine is a powerful thing. A lot of therapists told me like you should be limiting your caffeine consumption because of the fact that it aggravates anxiety. Oh, and one way to like kind of get that like warm feeling that you get from coffee in the morning is like hot lemon water or like hot tea. You can make it like a latte, like an herbal latte. So I do like herbal tea with like creamer and milk, and just kind of have of course it's vegan, vegan creamer and vegan milk. And I have a really little nice latte, and that just kind of helps me get through the wanting of caffeine, especially if I'm feeling groggy. It's just a nice way to wake up. Okay. And number 11, I'm so sorry to say this, but it's limiting alcohol. Again, it's going to be really hard for some and annoying to hear, but alcohol is really messy for your mental health. It's really messy. It's usually a downer. And it's also really not good for your skin. Your body thinks that alcohol is poison, so it does everything it can to like eliminate it or like attack it. And I'm super, super limited on alcohol consumption. I almost never drink, and when I do, it's very small because it actually makes me dizzy. And I would get really anxious like when I would drink, because after a while you start to feel it, and it just, I don't know, it just wasn't a fun feeling. So I realized that I needed to cut out alcohol, and there's a lot of like things that say, like alcohol is just not good for you. I'm sorry to say that. I know it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun still. It's not that I'm not having fun. I just try not to drink so much, because it's just, I don't know, just to bring yourself that down. It's really not that great. But that's just my recommendation. Is just what helped me. So you do you. Just try to cut down a little bit. So number 12 is meditating. So meditating is really powerful. A lot of people have, there's so many claims on what meditation can do for you. But for me, all meditation does is just to calm me down, just to bring me back to my thoughts, and kind of just breathe and let go, and to listen to calming voice. And it's a nice thing to do for yourself when you wake up, or when you're about to go to bed, or whenever you need it. I think meditating is really powerful. The Headspace app is free for me. I stay on the intro to meditation, and I usually will repeat that over and over again. Mostly because I'm not consistent and I wish I was, but when I do meditate, I always feel so good. Also, let me see, Spotify, they have a whole genre of meditation music, guided meditations for all sorts of things that you might need. Meditation music, spa music, nature sounds, meditate to this, high frequency music, which is, it's really nice. But meditating does not have to be this like floating in the air Yoda moment. It's just a moment of peace in your life. It's just 5 minutes to relax your thoughts. If you can do more, beautiful. If you only have 5 minutes, we all have 5 minutes in the day to just quiet ourselves down. There's so many proven benefits. So it's just a really good preventative measure that you can do for yourself. And tip number 13, this is my favorite number, is books. So I have a few book recommendations for you that have helped me on my journey. So the first book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This is my absolute favorite book of all time. It was on Oprah Winfrey's like book club for a super long time. So many people claim that it changed their lives. It's a beautiful book. I think I'm on my second or third time reading it, but I love this book. It's so powerful. It's so beautiful. It's such a good story. Okay, so my second book recommendation from Paulo Coelho is his book Warrior of the Light. And Warrior of the Light is just this really beautiful, positive affirmations. I guess it's pretty much positive affirmations, but it's also like little stories here and there. It's basically like you're a warrior of the light, so you're bringing light into your life and other lives. So Warrior of the Light is one of my favorites. Excuse me, sorry, I'm like reading off my computer. So the next book recommendation is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. This is a really good audiobook. It really gave me a confidence boost that I just felt that I was missing. It taught me basically how to be a badass. It was a really good book, so I recommend that one just for like little pause. I actually bought like 5 or 6 of them and gave them out to my friends. So it's a really good one. The next one is How to Un-F Yourself by Gary John Bishop. This I listened as an audiobook. It was just a really good way to like strip away the BS of life and your feelings and living your highest self and how to be positive. And yeah, so it was a really good book. That's another good one. And it also taught me the power of I am. So saying things like I am smart, I am, the language that you use to affirm things. My next book recommendation is Kay Warren's Choose Joy. This is such a beautiful book. It is a religious book, so if you don't believe in God or whatever, you don't have to read it at all. But it's a really good, positive book about joy and just like dealing with life and how, life is very much a combination of sorrow and joy all at the same time, and how just joy is a choice. So that's a really good book. My last book recommendation is RuPaul's Guru. This is another confidence booster, and he narrates his own audio, so that was a beautiful time in my life to listen to him narrating the audio. It just helped me a lot. It just, I don't know, it was just a really good positive like confidence booster. So these are my book recommendations that I have read that just have helped me. I just thought I'd put them out there in case anybody might need a new book to read or something positive to read. And I'm not a reader. I'm not one to read novels or anything like that. So from the fact that I read these or even listened to them is a good recommendation. My tip number 14 is sleep. Having enough sleep is so important. I am such a night owl. It's my downfall in life. And staying up until 4 a.m. is awful. It is just not having enough sleep is the worst. I feel the worst when I'm not getting rest from my body. Literally, my body will punish me for it. So just give yourself proper rest. It is needed for your health and mental health. I know that it can be a privilege to get enough sleep, especially if you have children and whatever, but do your best to get as much sleep as you possibly can. Take a nap. If you have a hard time falling asleep, I go through periods of like insomnia where I can't I will literally lay on my bed for hours not able to sleep. So I have some teas like chamomile tea, sleepy time tea, the Yogi brand relax tea. Do some yoga before bed. There's like a lot of bedtime yoga on YouTube that I've done that's really nice to just calm down. Take a hot shower before you go to sleep. There's something, I don't know where I saw it from, but it was like taking a hot shower and then like coming out into the cold. It like, I don't know, it like relaxes your body and that heat just like releases tension. So yeah, look into a sleep schedule. This is something that I did, like waking up every day at a certain time is like good for like habits and like really powerful for your body. And everything just feels better after a good night's sleep. So get your sleep. Number 15, my last tip of how to prevent anxiety is take your medicine. I am guilty of this because it made me feel less than. I'm actually not on anything now. I haven't been for a really long time, which was really hard to do. And that's because I really, really put in all the work that I needed to do to not have to be on medicine. But that is not the case for everybody. And, there may be one day where I might need it because it's just a little bit of help. It's just your brain can't do it all. Your body can't handle everything in life on its own. And if you're diagnosed with something and you're told that you need to take medicine, please don't feel ashamed of that. I really want to take the stigma away from medicine. If I broke my leg, I would have to take painkillers. Or if I had a physical condition that you could see, I would be told that I need to take medicine. Just because your illness isn't seen doesn't mean that it's not valid and doesn't mean that it doesn't need medicine. So please take your medicine, go to your doctor. Just because you can't see it doesn't make it any less serious than it is or unnecessary to treat. So go to your doctor, take your medicine, do what you need to do to feel better, and your body will thank you for it. So those are some things to do before anxiety hits, things to kind of prevent anxiety or anxiety attacks to happen. It's definitely helped me these last handful of 3 or 4 years that I actually started incorporating these things, because when I first experienced anxiety, it was like I was only going to therapy and I was only doing other stuff or was prescribed stuff to get me through it. But when I do these things regularly, not every single one of them, but when I just do things to help me feel better, it kind of prevents the anxiety from peaking or going to the point of a panic attack. So now we're going to talk about what to do if you are in the middle of a panic attack, if you're experiencing anxiety attack or whatever it is, and just how to get through it and write it out. So number 1, again, is to breathe. Do deep breathing exercises. Like I said, the 4-7-8. Often in panic, we don't realize that we're shallow breathing, or you even feel like you can't breathe. So when you take that power back and you start breathing, it's just really calming and relaxing for your body. I know that somebody told me once, I was having a panic attack. My friend was like, just breathe. And I'm like, you don't know what I'm going through. Blah, 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 blah. I got really angry because it just seems like when you're in that much fear, it just seems ridiculous to just breathe, just calm down. You don't think about that stuff. So literally, please just breathe. The breathing is probably the best thing that you can do, especially if you're in a situation that you can't get out of right away. You can literally just sit there breathing and just doing deep breaths and slowing down your breath and taking the time to just calm down. Number 2, if you feel panic coming on, if you feel like an anxiety attack coming on, whatever situation you're in, please go to the restroom. If you can walk away and there's a restroom, I recommend going to the bathroom, so you can put cool water on your neck, your hands, and your forehead and cheeks. If you're wearing makeup, then just do your neck, just dab some water behind your neck. But get your hands cool too, and then you can just touch your face and just, it's a sensory trick. So the cool water, I think, is really rejuvenating. It's always been really rejuvenating for me. So just you'll kind of notice when I'm anxious, I get really hot. My face is hot, my body's hot because I'm freaking out. So yeah, doing that cool water just kind of brings you back a little bit. So I always just make my hands cool, my neck, my face. Yeah. So number 3 is grounding techniques. So this is actually really hard for me at first when I first heard about it and when I was first told to do this. So basically the grounding technique is to bring you back down to earth, basically. So it's 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. It's just, again, it's a sensory thing. It just kind of takes, when you start doing that, it just takes the like it just takes whatever's happening away. So you're focused on, I need to find 5 things to see, I need to touch 3 things. It's a way to get yourself out of the panic and to focus and bring you back down to your surroundings. I know that I've had a lot of like dissociative moments, and when I do my grounding techniques, it brings me back to the present, and then I can start my breathing and etc. It just brings you back to reality. If you have anxiety, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. I might be the only one, but I've heard this happen a lot, so I'm not the only one. I feel like I'm in a cloud. Like I feel like I'm like drifting off, like I'm floating away because I'm in such a anxious state. You just like you separate yourself from reality a little bit. So it's a good way to kind of bring you back into what's happening. Number 4 is talk to yourself. My 4th tip. You are your own best friend, like I said earlier. So tell yourself that you're okay, that this is gonna pass, that you're gonna make it through. It's the scary thing about panic is your anxiety makes you think that it's never going to end. And when you tell yourself, I'm okay, it's gonna be okay, I'm gonna get through this. Yes, I'm feeling anxious right now. Yes, I'm having a panic attack, but it's gonna pass. Feelings are visitors. Feelings are not forever. They're temporary, and everything passes through it. You're not going to harbor on sadness forever. You're not going to harbor on anger forever. It will pass. So you have to allow that panic to pass. And so you do that. I do that at least through telling yourself that you're okay. But it's your job to believe yourself. You have to believe that you are going to be okay. That it's just, you're going to just have to ride out the wave of panic as it comes on. My 5th tip is move. So I'm really antsy. So when I get anxious, I can't sit still. You'll know I'm having an anxiety attack if I am wiggling around and like moving around or like walking all over the place. I don't know what it is about movement, but it just kind of helps me. It just helps it pass. I get really numb. So it kind of helps that numbness feeling go away is when I like move around. I also start to put my hair up. I don't know what it is. I start to get anxiety and I'm like, oh, let me just put my hair up to get through this. I think it's just a sensory thing for me to do. It's just for me, something for me to feel and to focus on, other than the fact that I am feeling really anxious right now and I need to do something. So it's putting up my hair. I usually do that when I'm kind of like confined somewhere and I can't get up or go to the restroom or whatever. I start playing with my hair or putting it up. Or fidgeting, moving around, moving my hands, just doing like movements and stuff to just kind of help it pass. So along with movement, when I'm driving, I've had a couple anxious moments, excuse me. I've had a couple anxious moments in the car. So when I feel that anxiety coming on while I'm driving, I will blast the AC. Again, that like coolness. I don't know what it is about the cool. It just is like really rejuvenating. So I will blast the AC, or I'll roll down the windows. I tend to turn up my music and I start singing really loud. Like whatever song I'm listening to, I just start to sing to it really loud. That's just like what I do. That's just kind of what helps me like pass through it in the car. But I recommend pulling over and collecting yourself before you go back into the car, just to keep yourself safe and everyone else around you. You're driving a vehicle. You want to make sure that you're in the right state of mind. So get out, just breathe and let it pass, or pull over to the side. You don't even have to get out of your car, but pull over and just kind of like let it pass until you're able to drive again. So yeah, that's my movement tips. 6, in panic, turn on calming music. This was recommended to me from my cousin. He helped me get through this really gnarly panic attack that I had. It was probably one of the most intense panic attacks I've ever had. Man, that day was crazy. It was so weird because I had like tunnel vision. Like I could only see like a narrow view of things. It was really weird. Anyway, he was in the car with me while this was happening, and so he changed the music to Mozart, I think it was, but you can change it to like meditation music on Spotify, just calming, lo-fi, stuff like that, like just easy, relaxed music. just to kind of bring yourself back down to reality a little bit. And frequencies are super powerful. So look into things that are like good for I wish I knew like the frequency level that they've said is really good for you. People like Janae Aiko and SZA, they have been like doing the bowls, and it's just like really beautiful for like frequencies and stuff like that. So turn on some relaxing music in the middle of panic. I know I just said I turned the music really loud and I'm singing, but that's just because I listen to a lot of music. But panic and frequencies, I don't know, there's something about like calming down, and you can do that through music. I really want to do a sound bath one day. They do sound baths in Joshua Tree, I think. I would love to go have a sound bath. That sounds amazing. It's not a physical bath. It's they literally play the bowls and they play music and they do the healing music, and it's just like this like really beautiful experience. Okay, on with the tips for panic attacks. 7. My 7th tip is to stretch. So your body begins to tense up when you're feeling anxious. And I realized it because I was actually having an anxious moment while filming, and I realized that I was clenching my hands, and I was like, okay, relax, move your shoulders, move your hands, let go of that tension. So stretching and doing stuff to stretch is really helpful to just kind of ease up your muscles, because I carry stress in my shoulders and my back, so I tend to like just clench up and feel super stressed out. So stretch. Oh, and massage your pressure points. So massage your temples, your scalp, your jaw, your hands. I know there's like there's certain pressure points that you can massage, so that goes along with my stretching tip. Number 8. This was shown on TikTok by this man. So it was keep a lemon in your bag or backpack. And the reason why he said this was because if you feel a panic attack or you're in the middle of a panic attack, if you have that lemon, you bite into it, and it's another sensory trick or tip. Because all you're focused on is the fact that that lemon is super sour. I will put a link to it. I have to find it, but I will put a link to that video that I'm talking about. But I thought it was a really smart tip. Like, I never thought to, like, keep something sour, or, like, to literally, like, the physical act of, like, biting the lemon. Because then I'd be like, oh my god, all I'm worried about is the fact that this lemon is so sour. Number 9 is my last panic attack tip is to phone a friend. I know that when it was first happening to me, I was really scared of it, and I really didn't know like how to explain to people that, hey, I'm like feeling really anxious right now and I don't know what to do. So talk to your friend, whoever you're around, if you're around anybody, or if you're not around anybody and you're feeling anxious by yourself, call somebody and just like talk to them like, hey, I'm really anxious right now. I just need to hear your voice, or I just need to what would I say? I'm having anxiety. I just need to hear your voice, and I just need to know that I'm not alone. So yeah, make sure you have a friend that you can reach out to. I hope that you guys have friends that you guys can reach out to. If you have nobody, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to calm you down. I have experienced it. I know what it feels like to be alone in panic, and it's just so isolating. It's so awful. But now that I've like am open and honest, and most of my friends and family know that like I struggle with this, and so I feel a lot more confident to be like, hey, like I'm having a really anxious moment, like what do I do? So I'm really lucky to have amazing friends and an amazing partner who knows how to calm me down and bring me back down to reality. Again, so if you feel like you don't have anybody that you can talk to, nobody understands you, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you out and get you through the hard time, because everyone needs somebody. All right, so now is for the tips for the recovery. So you've gone through a panic attack, if you've gone through anxiety, what do you do to yourself to help you recover? I think recovery is it's a really important part of dealing with anxiety, because we so often just it exhausts your body. It's a lot. It's a whole episode, and your body goes through that. So here's how to recover. my first recommendation is to take a bath or a shower as soon as you can. So the act of like physically cleaning your body is like symbolic of like letting go of what just happened. Like wash it off, literally let the water run over you, let it clear you out, cleanse you out, and just take a hot shower to release some tension, like I mentioned earlier about relieving tension in hot water. So yeah, as soon as you can, especially after an anxious episode or panic episode, take a bath or a shower. It'll really help a lot. My second tip is to eat or drink some water. So after anxiety, it's your body went through all of that. It's a lot. I know your mind is struggling, but like your body too. Like you have to think about your body, your embodied experience that you're having is intense. So, give yourself a snack, give yourself something nourishing, and drink a cup of water. It's another way to get water in, but I'm gonna challenge myself. I haven't actually had a panic attack in a while, thank the Lord, but I'm gonna drink a cup of water after an anxious episode. I've definitely been having anxiety, especially there's a lot going on in the world again, so yeah, drink a cup of water after, just nourish yourself. My third tip is to be kind to yourself. So it's really easy to beat yourself up after a panic attack. After experiencing that, it's just you feel embarrassed, ashamed, scared, and tired. So forgive yourself. Talk to yourself. Write down your experience. And just realize that those are negative feelings and get them out. And you're not crazy for struggling with anxiety. It's a normal part of life. There's so many people who suffer from anxiety. You really are not alone. We're human, so it's okay. And change that with some positive affirmations, but I'll get into that one. That's my next tip. But my fourth tip is do some yoga or stretching after. Again, a lot of these things are kind of going to be cycled through because you really can use these tips for so many ways to help you. So yeah, do some yoga. I mentioned yoga earlier, like I said, and stretch a lot because it is powerful. You have to do something to let up the tension. I'm reading out what I wrote. I did a lot of research. That's why it took me 2 weeks to get this episode out. I did a lot of research. I kind of really went through what happened to me in my life, and I really wanted to give you guys some like really good, helpful tips. So anyway, back to the yoga. Yeah, do something to like get out that tension again. Like I mentioned, for like sleep, like even like doing yoga before you go to sleep and stuff like that is just really calming. My fifth tip is meditation music again. So again, with like the frequencies and the healings, music is really healing. Or just, it doesn't have to be meditation music. Just listen to something that like makes you happy and just like rejuvenate yourself from the episode that you had. Listen to your favorite artist. But again, frequencies are super healing. My sixth tip is rest. So after that, you need to let your body rejuvenate. So get a good night's rest or just take a nap if you can, if you have the luxury of doing so. But if not, like if you had a panic attack at work and whatever, just do the recovery when you get home from work and just take a shower, take a bath, and then get a really good night's sleep. My seventh tip is the positive affirmation. So say things like I said, like leaving a sticky note on your window or your mirror, your phone, whatever, and repeat them. So things like I'm not controlled by my anxiety, just whatever you need to hear. You can like look up positive affirmations online and they'll give you a million. So number 8 is do some skincare. Again, after an anxious episode, it's really nice to just kind of shower yourself with love and taking your care of yourself and your skin is a small way to do that. So do your skincare routine early or really invest time into doing like a long skincare routine, exfoliate that night, do a mask, just do things that make you feel good and relaxed. Number 9 is if you're religious or whatever it is that you believe in, seek that higher power. So pray, lament, do whatever you need to do to heal. My 10th tip for recovery is coloring. So I really enjoy coloring. I think it's really distracting and it just makes me use my hands, and it's just like a really calming thing to do. So I recommend coloring. 11. Do not worry about anybody else. Like RuPaul says, if they ain't paying your bills, pay them no mind. But if they are paying your bills, just be respectful and know that you don't have to believe what they say, or believe what they tell you. If people in your life are beating you down with negative words, and they're not for you. Don't let anyone make you feel small, and question their character. You know, all those things that they're saying, like, don't take that in. Like, question them. Like, what is in their character that's wrong with them? Not, it really doesn't have anything to do with you. Usually all that negativity that they're telling you or putting onto you is because they don't like something about themselves. So they're trying to put that and cast that onto you, but it's your job to not allow that. So you have that power, and the power means that you decide what you can and can't take in, because the only person that you can control is yourself. So I know, but everyone else, if they're not paying your damn bills, do not worry about them. They do not matter. Let them go, cut them out. But if they are paying your bills, this is what I recommend doing. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. 12. My 12th thing to say about recovery is recovering and healing is a process, but you deserve it. You deserve to invest the time into yourself. You deserve to take your time in healing, do things that make you happy. I know that right now it's even more difficult to do these things because I know people get happy by going outside, and I know that we don't have that right now, especially because we're, being asked to, not being asked, we're supposed to be in our houses, and I know that it's hard for a lot of people, and I get it, but allow this, if you can, allow this time to be a time of healing, to invest in all the things that I've said, to try out these tips. That way when you return back to work or return back to school or whatever the case is, you're prepared and you can do all these things to help in the next stage of your life and all of our next stages of life. It really is all about your perspective on things. You really are creating your own reality, and not to take away from your pain that you have experienced, but use that as fuel. Use it as a reason to take care of yourself, and not a reason to stay stuck in it. All right, so I gave you a lot of tips and tricks. I know it was long, but I really wanted to know, to tell you, all of you, anybody that hears this, that it is possible to get through this. It is possible to work through anxiety. It is not a death sentence. I hope not. It is not something that you have to be controlled by for the rest of our lives. I've done a lot of work to feel better, and I wanted to share what I've learned, especially right now with everything going on. I think that everyone kind of needs a reminder on how to take care of ourselves and to do things that make us happy and healthy, and we're worth it. So I hope that this helps you feel better in any way that it can. I know that I gave you a lot of things, but just pick 2 things that you can do this week, and practice them, like breathing or yoga. Just pick 2 small things. I mentioned a ton of things, so please pick 2 of them, and watch how much your body and your mind will thank you for it. And it doesn't have to be in order or anything. I did that to keep track for myself and to help you guys kind of keep track of what I'm talking about. So do the things that make you feel better, and I hope that these things can make you feel better, and put them into practice and use them. I have used them for the last 3 or 4 years now, and it has been the best thing I've ever done to myself. I still struggle. Anxiety is not something that's just going to disappear one day. I hope it does. But I've done these things to help myself feel better, and I hope that they can help you feel better. I've literally been, like I said, studying my anxiety for the last 5 years. So I have really done the work to feel better, to be happier, to be peaceful, to actually feel relaxed, to not be scared of feeling relaxed anymore. So do something nice for yourself. I send you lots of love, and this is how sugar sounds.